We have breaking news here. President Biden has announced he will stand down from the race. I'm going to read the statement here on my phone. We also have Tim Miller, who's going to be joining us shortly. My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We've provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances. Passed the first, thank you so much, I'm just going to read off the paper here. Passed the first safety law in 30 years.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're interrupting program for the CBS News special report. I'm Christine Johnson in New York. Another twist in what has already been a historic election cycle. President Biden says he will end his re-election bid. In a letter just released, the president writes,
Good afternoon. I'm Rachel Scott at ABC headquarters here in New York. We are coming on the air at this hour with breaking news. President Biden has just announced that he is ending his re-election bid. Just moments ago, the president tweeted out, "It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term."
This is just coming across on social media right now, breaking news, and will address the country later this week about next steps. He intends to fulfill the remainder of his term. Kristen, your reaction to this bombshell news?
And it's from him on...
I was just told in my ear, and that's what's breaking on the wires right now.
I think, I think it's an enormous opportunity for our party. And I always think it's really important to have two strong people in the Republican Party and the Democratic Party to have a strong debate. And let's figure out who's best to run this country. At the end of the day, we are all Americans, and we want to move forward.
Good day. We are coming on the air with significant breaking news and a critical moment in the presidential race. NBC News has learned President Biden will step aside as the presumptive Democratic nominee. He will suspend his bid for a second term, and instead he will pave the way for a different Democratic candidate to face former President Trump this November. I want to show you the letter that we are just getting seconds ago from the president, from his office, in which he says that it has been the greatest honor of his life to serve as his president.
Welcome back. Breaking news here on Sky News coming into us from the United States. And President Joe Biden says he is stepping down from the U.S. presidential election campaign. He will not run in the U.S. election 2024. We have a statement here coming into us at Sky News. I'll read that to you now. It starts, July 21st, 2024. My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation.
You're watching BBC News. Some breaking news from the United States, where President Joe Biden has said that he is going to stand down from the presidential race and not seek re-election to the White House in November. He has said that he will step aside as a candidate, and he will focus on fulfilling his duties as president for the remainder of his term. He adds he's going to speak to the nation later about his decision. So this information has come to us via X, formerly known as Twitter, the social media platform, where Joe Biden has posted a letter.
We have breaking news now out of the United States. The US President Joe Biden has ended his re-election campaign. Here is what he said on the social media platform X just moments ago. In a long post, he said, "It has been the greatest honour of my life to be your president." And
hello, I'm Linda Ward. This is CBC News Network, and we begin with breaking news, a bombshell announcement from U.S. President Joe Biden. He is stepping aside as the Democratic nominee for November's election. The news came in an online post just minutes ago. Here's his one-page statement. Biden says he believes, quote, it is in the best interest of the party and the country for him to step down.
We have some breaking news just into our newsroom. President Joe Biden has just announced he will not be seeking re-election in November, just announcing in a letter on Twitter that he is stepping off of the ticket in November to focus on his duties as president. I'll go ahead and read you the post from President Biden, again, just posted in a letter onto his Twitter.
Breaking news. Yes, in the United States, the big one. The United States President Joe Biden has dropped from the November presidential election. Mr. Biden, in a statement on X, says he's stepping down as a candidate in the 2024 election and that he will speak to the nation later this week about his decision. Before now, dozens of congressional Democrats have publicly urged the 81-year-old to step aside after his debates last month against Republican challenger Donald Trump, 78.
The US President Joe Biden stepping down for the presidential elections, which has ended his re-election campaign and is now endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris after weeks of pressure from his fellow Democrats. For more, we're joined by US correspondent Logan Church. Logan, you seem to be scrambling as well. What are you doing in an Uber?
Yes, well, I was at the airport, Daniel, when this news breaks. American politics, as I've learned, quickly outstrips your travel plans quite quickly. But look, let's just go back over the last few weeks. It all started really with that debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, which went disastrously for the president when he couldn't get his words out. He lost his train of thought. Then you had the interview afterwards with George Stephanopoulos on ABC, which didn't reassure anyone. Then you
Joe Biden has posted on social media platform X that he is stepping down from the U.S. presidential race. Biden says he will be focusing on fulfilling his duties as president for the remainder of his term. Let's look now at the weeks that have led up to this decision.
هذا الخبر العاجل بايدن الرئيس الأمريكي جو بايدن إذن يقول كما يظهر على شاشتنا في بيان نشره على موقع إكس. الرئيس بايدن يقول إنه قرر التنحي عن الترشح لخوض انتخابات الرئاسة الأمريكية.
Breaking news, CNN.
Notícia de última hora, o presidente dos Estados Unidos, Joe Biden, publicou um comunicado em suas redes sociais anunciando que vai abandonar a corrida pela Casa Branca. A gente vai acompanhar agora a cobertura da CNN Internacional com a tradução da Denise Bobadilha.
Há muitas perguntas ainda pensando, mas uma coisa foi colocada agora, foi respondida, que o presidente não irá concorrer à reeleição.